Sagittarius 15. The groundhog looking for its shadow. Groundhog Day is said to be how you discover what the weather's going to be for the next period, 40 days or something. The idea that we can take some reassurance by looking for clues about what's coming. The shadow is the fear, isn't it? The groundhog is a very timid creature and gains its right for existence not by hunting and attacking, but by being aware of danger and running away when it's coming. And of course we don't celebrate that quality very much in our movie industry. The hero gets all the attention, but the wisdom really, when you're a parent, when you have responsibilities that require you to stay alive, then the indulgence of your feelings of being a hero would be self-indulgence beyond an acceptable level. It's much wiser to run when you're in the presence of an enemy that you can't defeat. And that enemy might be nature. Some of the things that happen in nature, we just have no argument against them. You can't stand up and battle a hurricane. You got to get out of the way. And there are certain wave forms of social change that are pretty much like hurricanes. And we're in one at the moment. It's just starting. The next decades will be influenced by the hurricane that we're just about to see unfold. The groundhog is saying, well, let's see which direction it's coming from. Let's see where to run. Let me just work out a survival strategy should I be faced with imminent danger. I think it's wise for us to consider this question ourselves. When political, social, and climate changes are really upon us, not just conceptually, because we see in the news that it's upon others, but when it's upon us, when it's knocking at our door, what are we going to do? It's time to think about this. Do we have a strategy in place? Do we know where to be to meet the coming dangers? Have we a plan B? Have we done all that we can to guard against the risks that we can predict will occur? There's likely to be more migration. People, foreigners, will want to take our land if their land is burning. That means our food. What will we do about that? Will we somehow create a collective, a neighborhood community for sharing food, taking care of each other, just looking in on each other, to provide the service that the government has been provided and may not continue to be able to provide? Now, this isn't an unreasonable prophecy of doom. This is happening. It's not even going to happen. This is happening. We have already experienced emergencies that we can't deal with, and that's been happening for quite some time. What are we going to do? This is the question here. Have you got your strategies worked out? Because if you were a groundhog, a little less courageous, a little bit more aware of your own inability to cope with what cannot be coped with, then you'd have some better instinct about where to run. And I think at the very least we need to know that. Where do we run when it's really dangerous? And of course, how do we guard against the need to run earlier than perhaps we were ready to? Those are the things that we need to think about. Meanwhile, while we're being cautious, we must also have a sense of faith. In the Middle East, they have the phrase, trust in Allah, but tie your camel. And I've been discussing tying your camel. What about the trust? Can we actually feel that there is a place in the future which is comfortable for us, good, rich, safe, something we want? Can we feel that? I can. I feel quite confident, quite strong in my confidence that the future is good. I don't think it's good for everyone. I think it's good for those who make the right decisions during this examination. Each of us is perhaps going through a profound examination now. And the best model that I've come up with for what examination is occurring, I call it the two whirlpools. The spiraling up of ascension moves us into another spiritual level. The resonance of our spirituality is not very high, and we're being asked to move up a level. And yet, in order to balance that upward movement, the downward spiral also exists. And we could say that the upward spiral moves us towards love and light, and the downward spiral moves us towards selfishness and materialism. And a lot of people want that. They don't see that as a negative thing. They want more things. They want more comfort, and they're not really interested in the spiritual question at all. So if you forced those people to join you in prayer and say, well, this is how you will be saved, it's kind of intrusive. They have to make it up for themselves, their own minds. However, if you can see somebody is not really doing the wise thing, they're not understanding that push has come to shove, you might want to just give them the chance to think about it. The spiraling motion is in two different directions and will take us up or down, metaphorically speaking. In each moment, we make a choice. Do we tend towards goodness, whatever that means to us, and service and being part of it all, and unified consciousness? Do we tend in that direction? Do we think about what will be the effect of what we're doing upon the other person? Is that what we're doing? Or is what we're doing saying, what do I want right now? I want more food. I want something to drink. I want this to happen. I want. You see that selfishness, not considering the other person, that's pretty much as simple as that. If you consider the other person in a situation, then you spiral upwards, generally speaking. If you're selfish and afraid and concerned about making sure you've got what you need and you carry on with that, then you get tight, and that's heavy, and that pulls you down. It's always been that way. It's just that now is the time for us to separate. Some people will choose one, some will choose the other, and there'll be a separation. Some will spiral up, some will spiral down, and the ones who spiral down will simply come back and have another go on some other occasion. They'll die off, reincarnate, and be reborn on a similar planet somewhere. It might be this one. Those of us who affirm as often as we can reflexive self-consciousness, the golden rule, do as to others as you'd have done to yourself. If we follow that rule, then we'll be drawn into the company of other people who are like that. And for us, that'll be heaven. That would be hell for those who don't want to be that way. It's a relative thing. But if my guess is right, we're in this moment of separation, and it's upon us now. It's what's unfolding, and it'll take the time it takes. I think each of us will have a different agenda with that. So as soon as you're really clear which side you want to be on, then know this, you're under notice. Yeah, time is upon us. Behave consistently like that. Make that a principle and stick to that principle. Don't associate with people that are not on the same wavelength as you. And that sounds a little bit ruthless, but this is the end game. It's time for ruthlessness. If you're mixing with bad company, stop doing it. It's dangerous for you.